Hello, my friends. Welcome to me, your host, Christian Watson. It is good to be with you guys here today. So, that exasperation is about the only amount of energy I can even devote towards the falsehoods and the lunacy that have been emerging from Capitol Hill over the past few days. And sometimes even an exasperated sigh is not enough, does not rise to the level of seriousness to really push back against this kind of stuff, doesn't even address it because of how just ridiculous this entire thing is. What am I talking about? So I was on Twitter today, trying to build my brand as I always am, because that's the goal, and I came across a tweet from Mitt Romney. This was the tweet, the first one up here, which reads, "Millions of Americans are struggling to make ends meet. I'm introducing a bill with Senator Tom Cotton that would increase the minimum wage while ensuring businesses cannot hire illegal immigrants. We must protect American workers." He says so resolutely. Then the second tweet says, to justify this, because every argument, every proposition needs a justification. So if you're going to make an argument proposition, you have to have something to back it up. So here's Mitt Romney's bamboo-thin justification for this complete and utter moral malady that he's trying to inflict upon the American people. Congress hasn't raised the minimum wage in more than a decade, leaving many Americans behind. Many Americans. Do you mean like less than 2% of people that actually, or 1% that actually get the minimum wage? Many Americans. Do you see the dangerous aspect of rhetoric? A politician or a rhetorician or a sophist, because really Romney's a sophist. He's a low-grade sophist. He's like a sophist that got a D- on his exam, his sophistry exam, but he's still a sophist at some level. A sophist is going to make things sound more grander than they actually are. He's going to contextualize things and frame things in a way that links political actions to life and death. This is part of the mentality behind Foucault's biopolitics, the idea that the government has control over life and death, that power relations can not just affect, but can also determine life and death. This sort of, it's not a necessarily Foucaultian idea that Mitt Romney's going at here, but it has the similar kind of framing. I doubt Romney's ever even read any political theory, in all honesty. Congress has not raised the minimum wage in more than a decade, leaving many Americans behind. Our proposal gradually raises the minimum wage without costing jobs. Setting it to increase automatically with inflation, and requires employers to verify the legal status of workers. Well, first of all, the idea that you can raise the standard that a certain business has to qualify for, and you have to cause them to economize and you can't lose jobs is ridiculous. Whenever you cause a business owner to economize, they're going to make cuts. When they make cuts, labor, is probably going to be one of the first places where those cuts are made. Why do you think Wendy's and McDonald's are going towards kiosks? Not because of the minimum wage, although I presume that if a minimum wage bill gets passed, the acceleration towards automation will increase dramatically, but they're going towards kiosks because they're more efficient. Now, of course, there are still folks who repair the kiosks and who make sure that they have these buffering issues that is fixed, but still, my point is this. The more you cause businesses to economize, the more things will be taken away from. It's like a pie. Scarcity, the law of scarcity is simply a natural fact. There is no unlimited amount of anything in this world. But Romney thinks there is. Or maybe he doesn't think there is. Maybe he thinks he can convince you that there is. Ladies and gentlemen, as this article here says, a report by the Congressional Budget Office last week, this article was made today, last week, found that a $15 minimum wage would bring almost 1 million people out of poverty, skeptical, in the next 4 years and boost cumulative pay. Obviously, if you raise the amount people can be paid, pay will theoretically be raised, but it would also raise the debt by $54 billion, and it will cost 1.4 million jobs. So you're not really raising people out of poverty. You're providing a short-term, superficial boost and then getting them away, because they will ultimately be victims of scarcity. But this is not an economics video, guys. Look, if you want to hear about economics, you can go watch some of the channel. This is about philosophy here, dude. And this is about a mentality here. People are saying, I read someone on Twitter say today, Romney's proposal is anti-conservative. Oh, Romney's proposal is anti-federalist. Oh, Romney this, Romney that. Oh, Romney doesn't understand economics. Oh, well, look, I don't really give a damn what Romney understands, what he doesn't understand. I give a damn how he's acting. How is Romney acting? Well, Romney is acting with a mentality that is too endemic to the political class. That is the mentality of the false hero. Romney is assuming that the government has the proper station to usurp the decisions of people, usurp their entire lifetimes, and make better decisions for them than they can themselves. Romney is assuming that with force, with the mechanism of force, he can compel things like poverty to go away. Romney is assuming a lot of things. There are a lot of argumentative presuppositions built into Romney's proposal here. And the least important of them is the economic impact. It matters. But if we were to somehow get to a point where the minimum wage didn't have a pernicious economic impact, what would happen? Would it be justified? If you're a consequentialist, it would be. But if you're someone who believes in principles above all, then it couldn't be. We have to base our objections on the foundations of principles, not consequences. But it also is funny to me that in a pandemic that has been sparked by egregious rights violations, and a pandemic that has laid waste to the economy, primarily because of how it has compelled government to act, we continue to think that continual force is the answer. The Economist says that about $10 trillion just in 2021 is cost by the pandemic. Visualist capitalist is basically saying that in the loss of GDP, COVID has cost us $7.6 trillion. Loss of mental health impairment, 1.6. Long-term health impairment, 2.6. Premature death, 4.4. This is not funny. I'm giggling because I'm putting this all in the context of having the government come in and help us, when in all reality, multiple of these costs here were caused by the government. The mental health costs were caused by lockdown mandates and isolation mandates. The long-term health impairment was caused by social isolation. And premature death, many of that was caused by either COVID or domestic abuse situations or suicides. The idea that a politician can save you from yourself, the idea that a politician can usurp your ability or your desire to have gone to college, have gone to high school, have gone to trade school, and then save you from making a mediocre pay if you're in less than 1% of the fucking population, the idea that politicians can do this is absolutely absurd. They can't do this. There's a reality that exists independent of the government gun. There's a reality that exists independent of legislation. And the idea that you're going to help these costs by quite literally rooting out immigrant labor from certain industries, you're going to cause prices to go up even more. And whether you agree with legal immigration or not, immigrants fill a lot of the most vital industries in certain areas of the country. In the South where I am, the agricultural industry is full of immigrants, illegal immigrants, full of them. This may be more of a rant than an actual response to this, but I just do not see how you can make these arguments with a straight face and act as if you're walking in epistemic humility. Mitt Romney embodies the highest disgusting point of the false hero. Mitt Romney's proposal is not just about the minimum wage. It is built on a presumption that you don't know how to control your life, that you don't know how to manage your own affairs. It is built upon a presumption of paternalism, that Romney and Cotton think they can just come in and sweep things under the rug and save you from everything that seems to be plaguing us, from your own financial situation. It's very concerning, my friends. I hope that most Americans, or that you guys at least, my pensive watchers, will see this, that you'll share this video, and you will get out there and you will fight this lunacy. Because at this point, it's just lunacy, man. Think on it. As always, my friends, if you like what I do, please donate to my PayPal, officialcwatson@gmail.com. As always, though, please stay pensive. I love you. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this message, please be sure to support my channel through PayPal. My PayPal is @officialcwatson, as you see on the screen. Any amount helps. Thank you so much, and stay pensive.